We're live.
Mhm.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia Krause here in Los Angeles at the PragerU HQ, and we're going to be talking once again to one of our favorite Brazilians of all time, Felipe Moura Brasil. He's a journalist and activist down in Brazil. We've talked to him about socialism before, and over 3.5 million views on your latest video for PragerU, which you were featured in. Congrats on presenting that, How Socialism Ruined My Country. You should definitely check it out on Facebook or YouTube. After you watch this Facebook Live, be sure to comment below your thoughts on Felipe, but most of our audience adores him, and we know why, because he's pretty awesome. Felipe, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for this special introduction, Alicia. It's my pleasure.
Thanks for joining. Now, you're in Rio right now?
I am in Rio. I'm at home.
Nice.
Here.
Nice.
In front
So,
of my books because I read. I am not a leftist.
yeah, you like to educate yourself. You like the
Yeah,
facts,
I
not
do.
the feelings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So what impact, like I mentioned, 3.5 million views, over 1 million views in the first 24 hours. So this video is doing incredibly well. It's featured in English and in Portuguese. So what impact have you seen this current video have in Brazil?
Well, I am very happy about it. You said it was like more than 3 million people watched it, and here in Brazil, all conservatives loved it, and of course, I annoyed some liberals, and they are very upset because I am putting this narrative, and they are used to make the narrative. So now they are contesting me, and they are very annoyed about it. But we are very happy. All the conservatives in the internet and all the columnists that have this conservative view, they all shared my video, and they all want PragerU Brazil. They love these videos. It's didactic, it's educative, and they want more videos like this.
That's great. So do you think it's made an impact it being not only in English but available in Portuguese?
Yeah, it was much better because people who don't understand English, they understand it the Portuguese version, and but lots of my readers speak English, so they watched it in the first version in English, and then I released the Portuguese version. It was great.
That's
People
great.
are enjoying it very much,
Yeah.
and I think it 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 shows the picture of what we had here for 15 years in worker parties government, which we call PT. These are the initials of worker parties in Portuguese.
So it's so obvious that socialism ruins societies and, in your case, even
Yeah.
nations. So why do so many people, specifically in Latin America, of all places, still believe in socialism?
Well, yes, it's clear for us that it ruins society. But the problem with socialism is that they're always trying to keep the virus alive from the effects of the disease. So, and they control the media and they control the educational system and show business. So they're always trying to save it. And if you don't have people being educated to understand not abstractions, not promises, but the reality of the facts, people believe it again and again and again. So they put these words on the air like equality, and they never define this because when you promise equality to everyone, you must have the power to promote equality. So you're not equal anymore, and that's what socialism. The real socialism is about people getting more power to transfer your money to other people, and while they do this, they keep the biggest amount of money to themselves.
So some people have criticized the video by saying things like, well, it's not socialism that's ruined Brazil, it's actually corruption and inequality. How do you respond to those skeptics?
Well, of course, there was corruption in Brazil before Workers' Party government. But this is funny because socialism make corruption worse. Of course, that's what it does. When you increase the size and the power of the government, you give more opportunities to corruption. If the government has advantage to sell to people who are outside the government, there will always be corruption. And when you increase it, you make this you make more opportunities. So corrupt people, they want to work in a big state, so they have more chances to steal our money. And that's what happened here in Brazil. So it's not okay.
No, go ahead.
No, it's not that corruption came before or after. It's that socialism made corruption worse, and that's the point. Workers' Party government in Brazil, they say they use a word here. I don't know if you understand. In English, they institutionalized corruption. They made it professional here, in a professional way that Brazil never seen before. And this was due to socialist measures, to socialist ways of doing politics. And it got easier for corrupt people to enrich themselves.
So what is some of the other criticism that you're seeing? You said that the leftists in your country are not big fans of this video.
Oh, because they are always trying to. That's what I said. They're always trying to keep the virus alive. Formally, for example, socialism is the regime that prepares for communism, in which the state controls the economy, but there's still some scope for free enterprise to the extent to the needs of the state. So this is exactly the Brazilian regime during Workers' Party government. So the enrichment of certain economic groups associated with the government is the very essence of, not of the promise, not of the socialist promise, but the socialist essence. So it's an effect of socialism, and people confuse socialism with communism, and they're confused about it, and they're always trying to contest the facts.
So what do you think? Do you think that there's hope for a free market system or for a non-socialist system to influence and infiltrate your home country of Brazil?
Yes, there is. And actually, I said on my video, more and more Brazilians see that capitalism and limited government are the only way forward. And today, this Monday, an editorial of Estadão, which is one of Brazilian biggest newspaper, proved my point, because and not the editorial itself, but the research that the Workers' Party made in the poorest neighborhoods of São Paulo, because they wanted to understand their defeat, their electoral defeat, why these poorest people, which they thought would vote for them forever, why they didn't vote for Dilma Rousseff for presidency and for Fernando Haddad to be the mayor of São Paulo. And so let me read a few paragraphs I translated into English. Okay. The result of this work illustrates how detached from reality is PT's Workers' Party, okay? It's PT's narrative aimed at the poorest. More than that, it allows one to realize that these voters, unlike what PT ideologues preach, consider the state and not the bourgeoisie, bourgeoisie, as their the elite, you know.
Yes. Jared says bourgeoisie, and
bourgeoisie,
he used to be a journalist, so
we'll take his word for it. Yeah, and not the elite as their enemy. They value meritocracy and understand that the ethical crisis of society is not a result of structural defects, but rather individual misbehavior, which must be resolved first and foremost by the family. And so they gave all the data, the research that Workers' Party made showed, and then it concludes, the study is forced to acknowledge that the main existing confrontation in society is not between the rich and the poor. It is not between capital and labor. It is not between corporations and employees, and it is rather between state and citizens, between society and its rulers. For the interviewees, all are victims of the state that collects excessive taxes, imposes bureaucratic obstacles, poorly manages economic growth, and ultimately restricts or stifles the activity of enterprises. Most of them also declare themselves from and private initiative in favor of the collectivity. So this research shows include that we have a way forward to capitalism and limited government, especially in the 2018 presidential elections. So we have this opportunity for a good candidate that show this idea to succeed, and that's what it's the conclusion. So they say, thus, according to the research institute, which is called Fundação Perseu Abramo, it opens up space for the popular economic liberalism with a demand for less state. The organization suggests that if you ever want to prevail at the polls, the democratic popular field, which is the left for them, must produce more consistent and less Manichaean narratives. The final recognition is that PT's strategy of alienating the elites have failed, and it is also proof that a political project that rationalizes the state, encourages private initiative, and awards the best and bravest is electorally viable.
Yeah.
So people minds here are changing a little bit, and that's great.
So can you tell us, for those of our fans that are watching you from America, what Brazil's healthcare system is like? Is it a single payer paradise like a lot of leftists want us to have here?
No, it's far away from that. I'm not a specialist of healthcare, but a few days ago, I don't remember if it was Sean Spicer, the press secretary of Trump government. He said something that is involuntarily describes Brazilians in part of Brazilian systems, because here our healthcare system is mixed, so it's part public, part private. And he said that you can't get in the public part, at least you can get covered.
Oh, looks like we might have lost Felipe there for a moment. Can you still hear me? Sorry about that, folks. We'll try to get Felipe back as soon as possible. Thanks so much for tuning into this Facebook Live, and we'll be right back if we get Felipe back. We were asking him about healthcare, and he was referencing.
Okay.
You there?
I am back.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Sorry. So you were talking about Sean Spicer referencing something that sounded a lot like Brazil's healthcare program. You said your healthcare program down there is half private, half public. Could you delve into that a little bit more?
Yes. His sentence is that you can get coverage, but you can't get care. So this is what happens here with the public system, the what they call unique health system, what we call SUS, the Portuguese initials for unique health system. It covers everyone, but you cannot be taken care of. So the demand is huge, and the system is poorly structured. So that's the problem, and the private part suffers with another problem, which is the agency of the government that regulates the private system. It exists only to defend the oligopoly of the big companies, and of course it is creating more barriers of entry for new companies in the market. So you have these two problems: the problem of the bureaucratic obstacles for the private sector, and you have this problem of the public sector that they can't offer care for people. They offer coverage, but you arrive there and there's a huge line and nobody gets care of.
So it looks like Ecuador just elected another left-wing president. Why do you think that Latin American countries vote for leftists as they see even places like Venezuela or Brazil not doing too hot?
Sorry again, the end of the question?
Well, so why do you think that Latin American countries continue to vote for leftists and socialists even when they see places like Venezuela collapsing? And as you pointed out in your video for us last week, places like Brazil ranking in the bottom tier of all of these studies.
Yeah, the problem, as I said before, is like we don't have PragerU Brazil, we don't have the cultural control of the narratives. The left does. And even when a left-wing party a left-wing party's government becomes corrupted, the left may criticize it, but still make people think that the leftist promises are the good ones. So we gotta occupy these spaces in the media, in show business, to educate people, and in schools and universities. Unfortunately, our universities were all infiltrated by leftist professors, and of course they are now criticizing my video, and they are teaching the wrong stuff to students. And so it's what happens that the people don't get educated for the left's failures. But I think this is becoming a little better. Now we have a problem in Brazil, an obstacle in Brazil to this recovery of our culture is that our new government made good choices in the economic area, so they put good people there, but Workers' Party legacy is so bad for economy that it gives lots of time for Brazilian economy to recover. So people are not feeling yet the economic recovery. And in the political part, this new government is immoral too. They have people who is investigated, politicians, powerful politicians that are mentioned in the deals that the arrested people make with the investigators. So maybe Brazilian population is starting to think that it's all the same. But we gotta know that the economic part is in good hands, but it takes time for the economy to recover, and it takes time to free market can produce the good results we expect about it.
Well, Felipe, I can't thank you enough for being here today. Sorry about the connectivity issues, everyone, and thank you, everyone, for watching. To support PragerU and videos like Felipe's, which are available in English and Portuguese, which is just amazing, with over 3.5 million views. And don't forget to support PragerU Lives. Please consider making a donation. There is a link in this post. For watching today, be sure to like and share, and don't forget to donate if you're able. Have a great day.